subscriber. Today I have 10 solo travel tips for women. I have traveled solo 2 times. My first solo trip was to Curacao for my 22nd birthday 5 years ago, and most recently I went to Portugal. I'm gonna link my Portugal vlog right here in the eye. That video got so much interest and I got a few requests from people asking if I could do travel tips, so I thought I would share some tips with you all. My very first tip is regarding location. Location is so important when choosing a solo travel destination. Make sure the location you're going to is solo travel friendly, and obviously do your research on safety in the particular country that you'll be traveling to. My second tip is how comfortable are you gonna be staying at a certain country or city for a certain amount of time. 3 to 5 days might be someone's sweet spot, whereas for someone else it might be a week to 2 weeks. It also depends on how long your flight is. Like, is it worth it to take a flight that's 8+ hours to only be there for about 3 days? One mistake I made when I went to Curacao is I went for way too long. Curacao is a very small island in the Caribbean, and my trip was 3 weeks long, and already by the 5th day or by the week I was ready to go home because I was just going to the beach every day. So for the other 2 weeks I was just too bored. It was just too long of a trip for me to be by myself for my own personal preference. When I went to Portugal, I went for a full week. That was amazing. I did everything that I wanted to do. My personal sweet spot when it comes to like trip duration is definitely like 5 to 7 days, depending on the location and how much there is to explore. Tip number 3 is regarding safety. You should always do your research before traveling to another country or another city. Do your own due diligence on how safe you're gonna be in that city. And for transportation purposes, you wanna make sure you're using somebody with proper credentials and not just getting in a random cab with anybody that offers you a ride. If there are rideshare apps in that country like Uber or Lyft that you can use, I think those are safe for the most part. Make sure you're aware of who is bringing you places, and also if you decide to venture into any bars or lounges, always watch your drink and just be mindful of that. Not everyone around the world is super nice. These are just extra steps that we need to take and keep in mind to keep ourselves safe. My next tip on safety is make sure someone at home is tracking you. For all of my solo trips, I have friends back home tracking me and seeing where I am at all times. My 4th tip is to make an itinerary. I'm the type of person that is always researching on Google, watching YouTube videos, and just getting as much information as I can before I travel to a certain destination. I'm on TripAdvisor, on all of the sites and blogs to make sure that I do everything that I'm interested in doing. But also don't be rigid and leave room to be spontaneous. Talk to strangers. Nobody knows locations like locals do. They just have tips and better insight on things to do than people who are not from there. My next tip is to learn local lingo and just know a few phrases like please, thank you, good morning, a few pleasantries, because locals always appreciate seeing that you're trying. It's just the respectful thing to do when you're in someone else's country. Make sure you avoid telling people that you're traveling on your own. You can lie, feel free to lie. Nobody has to know that you're in a certain country or city by yourself. If you do talk to strangers and you do end up meeting someone, make sure you have your own mode of transportation to get there and back to your hotel to be extra safe, because you truly never know. My 8th tip is to exude confidence. Don't act like a tourist. Don't act lost out in the street. Walk around confident and with your head held high. My next tip is to eat well, take lots of photos, be adventurous, try new things, have fun, and just enjoy yourself. Traveling by yourself is such a liberating experience. You get to do things on your own time. You don't have to worry about what others want to do. You get to call the shots as to what time you wake up, what activity you do. It's just such a beautiful experience to be on your own and seeing a new country and talking to new people, trying out different foods, experiencing local customs. I hope this video encourages you to travel the world. Sometimes group trips don't always end up happening. People end up backing out of plans after committing to go on trips. So I hope this video encourages you and motivates you to go go on a solo trip and see the world for yourself. My last tip is do a staycation in your own city or in a neighboring city and see how that feels for you before committing to traveling elsewhere for a longer period of time. If you're not someone who feels particularly comfortable traveling by yourself, I would go on a weekend trip for 2 to 3 days in a new city and see how that feels before you commit to traveling internationally, just so you can gauge your comfort level on your own for those 3 days, and then you can assess how long you feel comfortable on your own in another country. And if you're daunted by the idea of eating alone or dining out by yourself or sitting at a bar by yourself, I would bring a book to keep your mind occupied. And if you're sitting at a bar, feel free to at least strike up a conversation with the bartender and ask any questions you have about things to do. Don't be shy, and make sure you're talking to people when you're traveling on your own instead of just isolating in your hotel. Go out, have fun, be adventurous. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more travel content and weekly vlogs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.